I welcome you on behalf of Bengal team for today's lecture on hatchery hygiene and how to select a product. So when we are talking about a hatchery hygiene, the apart from the procedure of the hatchery hygiene, what we have seen in part one, it is very much important that which area, what kind of product is to be used. It decides the efficacy of your hatchery hygiene program. So this is very important aspect of hatchery hygiene. So in part one, we have seen hatchery hygiene program, protocol and its impact on hatchery operations. And now we are going to talk about selecting a proper product. While selecting a proper product, so generally what happens in the hatcheries, I have seen that many places generic chemicals are widely used because of its availability over the counter and because of the cost which is considered that they are cheap on the face value, but actually they are not cheap or economical. They are expensive in many ways. So how we are going to see it? So generic chemicals, they are hydrogen peroxide, bleaching powder, formalin, phenyl, potassium permanganate, acids, soap oil, copper sulfate. All these are generic products which are commonly used in the hatcheries. We are going to see today one by one about products, advantages and disadvantages of using these generic chemicals. So, in these generic chemicals, when we talk, they are highly reactive molecules. They react with anything and everything which comes in their way. They are not user friendly, they are hazardous, and they emit toxic gases. Some are carcinogenic and mutagenic too, and they are also corrosive. So we'll see the first product, bleaching powder. So bleaching powder, it is nothing but it is called as calcium oxychloride, yellowish white powder it is, and it is manufactured by passing chlorine gas over dry slaked lime, which is called in common language as a chuna. Gas treatment on chuna, it makes bleaching powder. That the reaction which is shown here, calcium oxychloride is formed along with water, and bleaching powder is reacts with carbon dioxide and produce chlorine gas, and which gets converted into calcium carbonate remains, and chlorine gas is released in the atmosphere. So in this, we have to note a few important points about bleaching powder while using. So that bleaching powder, it is actually soluble in cold water, and high amount of insoluble portion is always left behind, which is the lime present in the bleaching powder. So leftover is lime only. It is pH sensitive. In acidic water, it works better. It has a better efficacy in acidic water, and less efficacy in the alkaline water or in the presence of hardness. And breathing bleaching powder can severely irritate upper respiratory tract. It can irritate your eyes and skin also when comes in contact with that. And it is a highly hygroscopic chemical actually. It reacts slowly with moisture in the air to form chlorine gas, and if not stored in airtight containers. It means that when you are keeping buying bleaching powder in bulk and keeping it open in your store room, so definitely the gas will go out, chlorine gas will go out, and remains will be only the lime. Then second chemical will come to about formalin. Formalin is a 37% weight by volume solution of formaldehyde gas in water. It is a protein denaturing agent for the bacteria and viruses, and it's commonly used for fumigation along with potassium permanganate and bleaching powder. And also it is used widely in the hatcheries for fumigation and for in the hatchers also. But we have to note few points about formalin, that it is less useful in presence of organic matter. Its efficacy is at stake when organic matter is in large amount on the surface or area wherever it is used. It is highly corrosive, caustic, irritant, and carcinogenic also. And when more than zero point 0.1 ppm formalin is present in the atmosphere, and people get affected with various symptoms. And it is found that formalin is responsible for brain cancer. What it shows, that it is highly carcinogenic molecule, and it is not at all user friendly. and even not that much effective. When study on the fumigation of eggs, contaminated eggs was done, so there is a reference that when contaminated eggs were fumigated with formalin 40 ml and 20 gram potassium permanganate in per cubic meter of area for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 3 hours, different time frame when it was done, it is found that when the eggs are heavily contaminated, more than 10 raised to power 5 log of or more organisms were there, large number of bacteria always survived after fumigation, regardless of exposure time. It shows that it is not that effective, and complete disinfection of the shell surface was not possible with fumigation. So, fumigation or formaldehyde fumigation, what we consider that it is highly irritant, and then it may be effective, but it is irritant to the user. It is not irritant to the bacteria or viruses or the pathogens. Then we'll come to the hydrogen peroxide. About hydrogen peroxide, we must note that if eyes come in contact with 5% or more concentration of hydrogen peroxide, it can permanently damage the eye. And International Agency on Cancer Research Center showed that hydrogen peroxide can be carcinogenic and mutagenic to the animal. So this is also one risk factor of using hydrogen peroxide widely, and particularly lungs, intestine, and thymus, liver, and kidneys get affected when large amount of hydrogen peroxide is used for water sanitation or some other purposes in the poultry farm and hatcheries. Then we'll come to the next chemical, that is phenyl, which is also commonly used for cleaning or mopping the surfaces and all, and food, no, food bath and all. But phenyl, actually, phenyl, which is available in the market, which is an emulsion of light creosote oil and water with soap, which is called as saponified phenyl, also we call it as, and it contains carbonic acid, cresol, and homologous of phenol, which exert the necessary germicidal power. And phenyl is used in various places in poultry farming, as I said about for mopping the surfaces, food bath, and all other purposes. And but efficacy of any disinfectant, if you look at it, is measured in terms of its phenolic coefficient. So what is phenol coefficient? It is a measure of the disinfecting power of any disinfectant chemical in relation to phenols, because phenols are generally regarded as the high level disinfectant. One is lower and so on, means suppose it is one, it is lower, and less than that it again becomes ineffective. And concentration of phenol that kill the microbes in 10 minutes and not in 5 minutes while calculating the phenolic coefficient. Our product Biofin, which has more than 23 phenolic coefficient, which is highly effective and high level germicidal product. But about phenyl, we must note that phenol coefficient is less than 1. That is one thing. It is less effective. It is very toxic, and accidental ingestion can cause serious health issues also. So that's why phenyl is also not that safe or effective to be used in the hatcheries or farm. We'll come to potassium permanganate now. Potassium permanganate, when it is a caustic alkali that dissociates into permanganate ion and manganese dioxide, and elemental oxygen is also liberated in the dissociation. After dissociation, it is very reactive and will readily react with organic material whatever comes in contact with potassium permanganate. But about potassium permanganate, we must note that the concentrated solutions can burn skin. It is highly corrosive and powerful oxidizer, and potassium permanganate is a serious caustic irritant and corrosive, and it should not be mixed with formalin because it produces toxic formaldehyde gas, and which is carcinogenic also and not user friendly. Then we'll come to soap oil, which is commonly used in place of high level detergents and all. So soap oil, which is a liquid cleaner, and it is generally alkaline in nature, and it works to some extent on organic dirt, and but it do not work on scales and salt deposition, because scales and salt deposition is inorganic dirt which cannot be cleaned with alkaline detergent. And critical mixture concentration of phenyl is this soap oil. It is also doubtful, and how much effective it is also, it is a question mark. And about acids, different kinds of acids are commonly used in the hatcheries, and but they are corrosive. They cause chemical burn, skin irritation also happens, and respiratory disturbance also happens, and it can irritate eyes also when come in contact with. We come to copper sulfate. Copper sulfate is fungicide and bacteriostat, and it is commonly used in agriculture industry. But disadvantages of copper sulfate are many. Irritant and corrosive it is moderately toxic, and there is no recommended dilution for different areas which have been commonly used in the hatcheries and farms. So that is also a major disadvantages point for copper sulfate to be used. So you will have a question in mind that then these chemicals which are very commonly and widely used in the hatcheries and farms. So what is the best solution for against that? So I would like to elaborate on the selecting of a product in the hatcheries for hygiene program. So, what is the features? What are the features of an ideal product? So, the product has to be broad spectrum, bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal activity must be there. It should have a excellent residual kill after usage. Also, for some time, it should go on working. It should give residual protection. There should not be any irritating fumes or odors like with formalin or any other chemicals, bleaching powder, and all you get. Excellent cleaning activity also it should have in presence of organic matter. It should clean the organic matter and allow the disinfectant to work. And it should have a deodorizing activity also. It should not be strong smelling and all. Organic soil and hard water tolerance also has to be there. It should be used in wide pH range of the water and on the surface. It should be biodegradable, environmental friendly. That is also one area we should always look into. And it should have a low toxicity and non-bleaching. So we'll talk about the disinfectants now. So composition of a disinfectant, if you look at biocides, we can call disinfectant as a biocides. So there are two important things in composition of disinfectant. One is active and inerts. Actives are the chemicals which are used, or basing on that the disinfectants are classified, and which is mentioned on the label. They are phenols, cresols, fluorine, quartz, aldehydes. Basing on that, the disinfectants are identified. But the inerts play a very important role in deciding the efficacy of these actives. Inerts are corrosion inhibitors, builders, chillants, surfactants, humectants, stabilizers, fog enhancers. They are all the inerts or inactives which which exerts action or potentiates the actions of actives on particular surface or in the water whenever they are used. And these actives are also again classified into two categories. One are oxidizing biocides, and second is non-oxidizing biocide. Chlorine, iodophores, hydrogen peroxide, peractic acid, and potassium monopersulfate kind of compounds. They are oxidizing biocides, and non-oxidizing biocides are quartz, phenols, bigonides, organic acids, and aldehydes. So when we are talking about hatchery hygiene program, we have mentioned that there are five products are very much important for deciding the efficacy of the hatchery hygiene program. You should have a good quality cleaner, one descaler and disinfectant, one water sanitizer, and two disinfectants to be used alternatively. So we'll first look at the universal barn cleaner, which is amphoteric detergent, which can clean out as organic and inorganic dirt in equally. Scales, mineral deposit, biofilm, grime, grease, protein, and fatty acids it can clean. And then disinfectants, B904 is the universal disinfectant. We can call it as, we can use it in presence of bird also, absolutely no problem. And then it is very user friendly. It has a quaternary ammonia of different carbon chain length, which is 23% of it. and tributylene tinoxide 1% is added in it, which is an potent antifungal agent. Then we'll come to Biobuster. This compound has to be used in alternate with B904, and one day B904 is used, second day Biobuster can be used. This has a potassium monopersulfate compound 49.8% and sodium chloride 1.5%. And Biobuster Plus also can be used along with Biobuster, means alternate to Biobuster. Potassium monopersulfate compound, it has 49.8% and sodium dichloroisocyanurate 5% it has. Then we were talking about descaler and disinfectant, which is Aquamax, which has a benzalkonium chloride solution 6% and citric acid 8% it has, which is a potent descaler compound which can be used in wide areas like on surface wherever the scale formation is there, for cleaning the fans, and wherever the salt accumulation has happened in the machines and all, everywhere you can use Aquamax. And PbCl2 tablet, it is a water sanitizer, pure chlorine dioxide tablet. One tablet of 10 gram in 2000 liters, it gives you zero point 0.5 ppm solution. And Quatrina is another alternative for water sanitation, which has a DDAC 7%. So as I said, basic needs of hatchery hygiene program. So a good water sanitizer like BVCLO2 DDAC has to be there. Quatrina 4. A good descaler Aquamax. Two disinfectants to be used alternatively. Quaternary ammonia compound base B904 and peroxygen compound Biobuster can be used, and an amphoteric cleaner, which is UBC. So this was all about. I wanted to talk with you on bringing down the usage of generic chemicals and having a putting forth before you that good alternative, effective and economical alternative for any generic chemicals uh, for hatchery hygiene program. So thank you so much. For any questions and queries, please contact our local Winkies representative. We will be happy to serve you.